You have to fight for what you want in this life, people. Nobody gives you anything, except for maybe a hard time. And there's plenty of that to go around. You know, I've earned everything that I've gotten in life. I've earned it the hard way. I've earned it my way, on my terms. Oh, please. They've tried to shut me up. They've tried to get rid of me. When I was younger, they called me fat. They called me white girl. When I finally got a voice and the confidence to speak, they wanted to get rid of me, fire me, break me. I'm a thoroughbred.
Wendy Williams, what is really going on with her? We're going to talk about that and more in just a bit. It is your boy Gamma back with another episode of Escape the Matrix. Welcome back. If this is your first time, be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. You won't miss a video just like this. All right, guys, we're talking about Wendy Williams. Probably heard the news by now. She's been hospitalized, released from the hospital. Reports are saying that she may check into a psychiatric hospital. A lot of information going around. However, we're going to talk about something that a lot of people are not talking about. There's so many elements and aspects as to what is happening with Wendy, and it's very important to highlight one specific thing. Before we get into that, let's first break down what's been happening. All right, so first things first, it was reported that she tested positive for COVID-19, and that was earlier in the month. At this point, she's probably already had the 2 weeks of recovery time. Hopefully she's completely done with that and beat it. Now, along with that, Wendy does have Graves' disease. She's always struggled with thyroid. She's had issues with that. She's made it public for years now. There may be some other underlying health issues that she's dealing with off and on. Aside from that, there are rumors, and I have to stress rumors, that she has had some relapse. She's went back to using substances, certain things that she struggled with in her past. So I don't want to say that definitively, but I do want to touch on that because that's also a public issue that she's made mention of regarding her past. Now, Wendy has always tried her best to be very forthcoming with the issues, the challenges, the struggles, her demons, right? She's always tried to put that information out, especially to help other people that may be going through the same thing. As far as Wendy Williams goes, right? You guys know I'm in Atlanta. However, if you're from the Northeast, which I am originally from, Wendy Williams was a staple. Back in the day, she really was one of the top radio personalities. That's really how she got her start. Climbed her way up in the airwaves, through the ladder, and made a name for herself. WBLS 107.5, if I'm correct, was the station that she represented and did her thing. She had a long-standing talk show, and she was #1 for quite some time in one of the most competitive markets in the world, the New York market. She held it down. She did her thing. She was known as the queen of gossip, rumors, ratchet news, information, and everything in between. And she often dubbed herself, and I've heard a few others mention this, that she would consider herself the queen of media. And I don't know how far back she had her show, but she has been around in radio for quite some time. It was definitely before the dominance of social media, the prevalence of the internet and social media. So when I talk about radio show, I mean strictly radio. On rush hour traffic, on the way back from work or to work, you would listen into someone like Wendy Williams, and she was really able to grab your attention. You may even consider her a pioneer in this game. You know, a lot of podcasts, a lot of talk shows, radio shows, and things of that nature borrow a lot from what she and others did back then. Now, when it comes to Wendy Williams, the thing that I want to stress, the reason you probably clicked on this video, the thing that I want to highlight that a lot of people are not discussing, is the state of her mental stability, her mental health. It's very ironic because there's a guy who's a strong advocate for mental health, right? He goes by the name of Charlemagne, and he's a host on The Breakfast Club. Charlemagne has a long history with Wendy. In fact, many of us recall Charlemagne getting his big break on the Wendy Williams Show. Yes, he may have been doing a small little radio show in Moncks Corner, South Carolina, I believe, somewhere in the Cackalax. However, Wendy Williams giving Charlemagne that internship / assistant, then he basically became her co-host. That really catapulted him to where he is today. And I'm sure Wendy did some things behind the scenes, made some connections, networking, etc. with him. But yeah, Charlemagne really got his big break. I don't want to say his start, but he absolutely became more popular once he was on that New York market on the Wendy Williams Show. And again, the only reason I bring that up is because Charlemagne, at this point, he really is an advocate for mental health. And that, right now, in my opinion, is the most difficult challenge that Wendy is facing. She's been through a lot. I mean, a lot. I already touched on the fact that she's been struggling with thyroid disease. She has other issues, health issues that we're probably not aware of that she has to deal with. And when you're taking medication, when you're visiting the doctor frequently, when you're dealing with a lot of these things, it takes a toll on you. In addition to that, Wendy Williams, you probably all know this, her husband, yes, the husband that she has the one child with her ex-husband, I should say, has had an affair. And it's been reported by People magazine, this affair went on for 15 years, resulting in a child. He wound up having a child with the mistress. And if I'm correct, they still may be together to this day. She obviously is divorced from him at this point. But again, the mental, emotional, and psychological impact, very hard to measure these things. All of us are different. Regardless of how much money you make or how little money you have, we all have to deal with these issues. Mental, emotional, psychological. And most of the time, these things can completely blindside you. Just out of nowhere. You can feel on top of the world one day and then something goes left. And if it's caused by someone that you truly may have put your faith and trust in, it's even that much more devastating. So Wendy deals with this. It's easy to say just move on and find someone else when you're a spectator, right? When you're on the sidelines, you always can say just move on, get over it, etc. But when it really happens to you, the impact can be extreme. While she was with her husband, right? Wendy was making this journey through radio, through television, through media. She was doing all of these things. Her husband at one point had to be loyal. He was probably holding down the fort. He was probably doing all the things that she expected. And at that point, she might have felt like, look, I got it made. People can hate me all they want, but I have a man who's here for me and my child, and we are doing this thing together. When it doesn't work out, the extreme opposite of that just overwhelms you. You start to question everything. How long has this been going on? Why is it happening? Why would they do this? Etc. And then you have a child together, and then you wind up having a child with the mistress. It can be a mess. In fact, sometimes when you have a name, right, when you're popular, when you're well known, celebrity or whatever you want to call it, it can be much more devastating when you have someone do something like that, when you're cheated on, when you experience an affair, because it's not private. It's not just between you and your spouse. It's funny because I read somewhere when it comes to, being cheated on or cheating, it doesn't matter how private you are, how small the town you live in is. Naturally, your response is to feel like everyone knows. That's part of the pain, right? No matter how private you are, how discreet you are, you and your partner can probably just have like no friends. But if they were to cheat on you, something that happens quite often, to a lot of people is you walk around with this heavy sense of shame. Even though you're the victim, you walk around feeling disgusted, like, why did this happen to me? And anyone who looks at you, the assumption could be they know, they must know, they're aware. Well, I'm only saying this because when you have someone like Wendy Williams, right, that assumption is no longer an assumption. It's actually true. People do know about the affair. It's not something you can sweep under the rug. You really can't quickly recover from it. It's not something that, you can easily resolve where it's only the couple and maybe a third party knows about it. No. Everyone is talking about it. And let's be honest, Wendy, right, when it comes to the kind of information that she puts out, the kind of talk show she's had, radio show she had, throughout the years, she has made a lot of enemies. Maybe not the type that want to cause, bodily harm, but people who really do not like her. Maybe she's talked to a lot of people's mistresses. Maybe she's revealed a lot of dirt. She's put out business and information that people wanted to be kept private. So she has those kind of people that are not really too sympathetic for her going through this. I've actually read some comments in different places where they refer to what she's experiencing as karma. Totally can understand the sentiments, but it is a little harsh. I don't think we should ever wish anyone wicked or bad or evil things, regardless of what they've done, regardless of what they've experienced. It shouldn't be in our hands, I should say. We shouldn't be the judge of those kind of things in terms of what they deserve. So the reason I'm saying all of this is because Wendy is going through a lot. Whether she has relapsed, whether she has went back to drinking or abusing substances or doing anything that is really a form of an escape, what she has to do is get the proper help, right? Not just pills, but she needs extreme love and support from the people that mean the most to her. And I hope she's getting that. I actually heard a clip of her brother saying, the show must go on. And that's exactly how Wendy would want it. I don't know if that's the best thing. I think back to like Michael Jackson, for instance, right? We all know he was going through a lot. You didn't have to be close to him to know that this man struggled with a lot of emotional, mental, and psychological problems. But everyone always pushed him. It seemed like the people around him pushed him to continue to perform, to just focus on being an artist. They didn't allow him to properly heal and deal with his demons. And that's kind of what I'm seeing happening with Wendy. I hope she is given the proper help and assistance to deal with her biggest problem, which is the mental, emotional, and psychological impact everything she's been experiencing is doing to her. Let me know if you guys agree, man. Like, regardless of what it is, her mental health, the most important thing she needs to stabilize before she tries to get back into anything else. Thank you guys for listening. Once again, it is your boy Gamma. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, like the video, share the video, leave your comments below, and let me know what your thoughts are on Wendy Williams. Until next time, escape the Matrix.